WBAP.
Thank you much, Marlee. Sergeant Bo Bergdahl is set to be formally questioned about his 2009 disappearance in Afghanistan by an Army investigator on Wednesday. It's going to take place at Fort Sam Houston tomorrow in San Antonio. His attorney will be meeting with Bergdahl today to prepare, and they'll be learning as much as they can, as they say. But we thought we would learn more right now from our friend Brian Bouffard, who is a criminal defense lawyer, former U.S. Navy JAG lieutenant commander. This guy is an expert on military justice. And let's start with what will happen tomorrow, Brian, as this Army investigator finally sits down with Bo Bergdahl.
Well, good morning. He is going to, essentially sit down with him and have the opportunity to question him. His lawyer will be present. He's going to be read his rights against self-incrimination, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not he decides to give a statement or to stand on his rights and not give a statement. I suspect he will give some form of a statement.
We're 3 months out from his return. That was May. This is August. We're about 3 months out. That seems like a long time for that investigator to have waited to talk to him. Am I wrong there? Is that normal?
It is normal in a case like this because he's got to be cleared by his reintegration team to even meet with the investigating officer. So, bear in mind that when he came back, he began a reintegration process involving medical and mental health and, all sorts of other disciplines that are designed to get him back basically functioning as an American citizen. And I think he kind of went through that process fairly rapidly. He was certainly back on some form of duty fairly quickly. But it's only been fairly recently that he's even been cleared to speak with the investigating officer.
And tomorrow he's going to be read his rights against self-incrimination. Does that mean that everything that he has said prior to tomorrow can't be used against him?
No, the only material that can't be used against him would be if he were actually questioned by someone who suspects him of an offense. And I don't think that any of that has actually taken place. He's made several voluntary statements, possible emails that he's sent, statements made to other soldiers. All of that it should be admissible in court if he ever gets there.
Brian Bouffard's with us right now. There's also some talk that the investigator, and we don't have complete confirmation on this, has not spoken with other members of his battalion at all that served with him. Could that be the case?
I've heard that too, and that does seem a little unusual. Although you have to bear in mind that back in 2009, when then PFC Bergdahl left, they did an investigation then as well, and they did get statements from everybody there on the ground who knew him and who knew of the circumstances of his departure. But you're right. It's 5 years later, and you got to re-interview those folks. Time does not tend to help witness recollection, and certainly there are facts that we know now that would possibly lead to different questions. So you got to talk to those folks, and certainly if I were running it, I would have done that in pretty short order.
Yeah, conversation starts tomorrow between Sergeant Bo Bergdahl and the Army investigator. Brian Bouffard, thanks as always for the time this morning and the insight. Time to check traffic right now. It's theclassicchevrolet.com. Right now, traffic watching. It's Laura Houston.
We've got those delays on northbound Loop 12 Walton